guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm a hot mess today, but you know what, it's my day off and I get to be a hot mess if I choose to be, and today I choose to be. Today's video we're gonna go over how to make a candle, and this is for beginner, meaning you've never made a candle before. We're gonna go through that. Before we get to that though, we are going to go through a few things like what we're going to need, and we're going to also go through candle math. Yes, we all hate math, me too. So before we get started, we're going to need wax. These are soy wax flakes to start the show. You're also going to need something to stir your wax and your fragrance oil or essential oil. Speaking of, you're gonna need fragrance oil. This is Cashmere Plum from Candle Science. I don't like the smell out of the bottle. Maybe that is just me. Let's see how it is in the candle. That's why I'm using it. You also need something to pour your fragrance oil in. I would not suggest always using plastic, because what I've learned is that some fragrance oil literally melts right through plastic. So if you do have those measuring cups from the Pyrex collection, I'd use those or something metallic. You're also going to need wicks. You are going to need a wick holder. If you don't have a wick holder, you can always use the longer version of these and wrap the wick around it snugly to hold it in place, as long as it is larger than the diameter of your container. You're going to need container. I'm going to use the round one for this. I'm still looking for it. It's somewhere here, but we're going to need a container. I'm using 10 instead of jars today. You are going to need a thermometer, a scale. You can just use your kitchen scale. As long as you have the unit you want to make your candle in. I make my candle in grams, so this one ranges from grams, ounce, and pounds and ounces. You're going to need a pouring pitcher, and you're going to need for later on a wick trimmer or a scissors or a nail clip that you don't use personally, anything to cut your wick. And if you choose to be very festive and colorful, you're gonna need dyes. I don't use dyes in my candle that I sell, but I do use it for candles I make as gifts for friends and families and co-workers. You're also gonna need a pot to use for your double boiling method. Mine is over there in the kitchen, so I didn't bring it over here. Paper towels. So I always keep paper towels on hand because I spill when I pour my fragrance oil. Can't be the only one. Pretty sure some of us does. So that is it for that. Now, candle math. If you do not know the wax weight of your container, what you're gonna do is put your container on your scale. You're gonna tear the scale out to 0 so that the container's weight isn't counted, and you're gonna fill that container up with water to wherever you want your wax to stop. So if it is here, whatever you're using, grams and ounces, wherever you want it to stop, you're gonna mark that number down. So mine is 187 grams. So the fill weight for the round container, so I need to find it because I know that one. The fill weight for the round container is 187 grams. That should be a combination of wax and oil. Now you need to know how much wax of that 187 and how much oil for that 187. The 187 is my example, so you can follow along. Now I'm using 8% fragrance oil. I am going to put up a board right here on the screen with the MAC weight. So let me go very verbally first to see if you understand. So 187 is the total weight of your wax and your fragrance oil for your container. Where I have 187, plug in your number right there. I'm using 8% fragrance load for mine. So it would be 187 divided by 108%. Let me say that again. Your wax weight container, so mine is 187, So 187 divided by 108% because I'm using 8% fragrance oil load for that container. So mine is 173. So I need 173 grams of wax. Then I'll take away that 173 from the 187 to get my fragrance oil amount in grams. Guys, it is, I know, it sounds complicated, but again, I'm gonna put it also in the description box so you can follow along and see it there. A lot of people don't get it, but you will. So if you don't get it, go right now in the description box and get the formula from down there before you go any further, because this is important. You can't go to the next step of making your candle without that, unless you want to eyeball it. But if you're planning on making candles for a business, you're going to need the formula to get it. Or you can do what manufacturers say. They'll say XYZ amount of fragrance oil to 1 pound of wax. You can do that. I was doing that and I had so much leftover wax because I wasn't always I make my candles in small batches, guys. So I was always having leftover wax and fragrance oil, and that's a waste. And when you're starting out your candle business, last thing you want to do is waste things, because while the supplies are inexpensive, shipping is not. Let's not get into that. So let's go ahead and make our candles. All right, guys, let's do this. So as you can see here, my scale is in grams. We're gonna put our pouring pitcher on top, tear it out because we don't want to count the weight of the pouring pitcher, and I need 173 grams of wax. Oops. We got 183 instead. I am going to use a spoon that I don't use for personal use to remove some of this wax. Let's remove just a little bit more. There you go. All right, so this is weighed out. Since I'm already here, I am also going to weigh out my fragrance oil. So again, tear this out. So we're going to put it on our scale, tear it out, and our fragrance oil would be the 187 minus the 173 of wax, and we need 14 grams of fragrance oil. Why do I not think there's 14 grams in here? Oops, never mind, there is. Okay, so that is it. Over here, as you can see already, I do already have my pot of water heating up. I'm not gonna have the water be boiling hot, but it needs to be hot enough to melt the wax. I think I need about a few more minutes before it gets there, so I'm gonna wait for that. And so while the water is heating up, we're gonna go ahead and adhere our wick and our wick sticker to the center of this container, and I'm eyeballing it. Let's see and hope we go in the center. I think I did pretty good. Yep. So I'm gonna go and press that down right now to make sure it stays nice and snug to the center of the jar. There you go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add our pouring pitcher to our water. Guys, I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, you need to know 3 things about your wax before you start melting it. The 3 things are: 1, what temperature do you melt your wax at? So for mine it's 185 according to the manufacturer. What temperature to add your oil, and what time to pour your fragrance and wax mixture into your jar. So what time to heat your wax to, what temp to add your fragrance oil, and what temp to pour into your container. So make sure you get those 3 done before you start melting your wax. I'm sorry for not mentioning that in the beginning of the video. Let's get back to it. Alrighty guys, so there we go. We're gonna give it a few minutes to melt down. This wax needs to be melted to 185 degrees. So once we get to that, we're gonna pull it off the heat and wait for it to cool down to add our fragrance oil. As you can see guys, our wax is melting down. Still have a bit of a ways to go. So we're gonna give it a few minutes for it to melt properly. Okay guys, so we're checking the temperature. It is still not at 185 as yet, so we have to wait a few more minutes, but keep a close eye on your wax. The last thing you needed to get is way past the temperature mark it's supposed to be melted at. So I'm just gonna keep watch on this until it hits 185 and pull it off the heat. Alrighty guys, so I went ahead and pulled my wax off the heat. As you can see, the temperature is dropping fairly quickly. I need to get to 170, 175 to add my fragrance oil and then pour it at 160. So once it gets to 175, I have my fragrance oil ready. I'm gonna pour. I'll just let it now. I'm gonna stir for a bit of time. I do realize that the wax temperature drops pretty quickly in this, so I'm gonna go ahead and check the temperature. Mind you, the fragrance oil is at room temperature, so you did bring the temperature of the wax down by a little bit. So let's see where we're at right now. Okay, cashmere plum actually smells really good outside the bottle. Inside the bottle, I wasn't so sure. Alrighty, so we're at 163 and it's dropping. So pour between 160 165. I am going to go ahead now and pour in my container. There you go. Now, it is best to go ahead right now and set your wick with your wick setter. And there you go, guys. Now, if you don't have a wick sticker, what you can use is, well, the longer version of these and wrap the wick around it. Or you can use a pen, anything that will go across the diameter of your container, and you can just wrap the wick around it until it's snug to hold your wick centered. So yes, this is centered. And then you just leave all of this to harden. I would say give it about 24 to 48 hours. If you are using soy wax, I would suggest you not burn your candle until about a week or 2, because it does take a while to cure, and I put that in quotes because it just means for a reason to combine and harden. That is it, guys. Making candles for family and friends is quite easy because you don't need to get into the technicalities of wick testing, fragrance throw, things like that. You know, our friends or family, they do appreciate those small handmade gifts. If you were making these to sell for a business, you'd have to be more careful. There'll be more things that you'd have to think about when making a candle for a customer, because you know people are spending their money on your business, so it'd be completely different. Right now, I'm gonna try to film my restock for you to see how I make my candles for my business. Currently, I am closed. On my website, I sold out completely of my candles, everything on the night of Cyber Monday, I was completely sold out, so I had to close the website down because I had people going there saying they couldn't find what they wanted because we were out. So I'm closed down for restocking. I can't even show you right now, but I'm gonna insert a clip up here. But I received, the only thing I've received so far from my restocking is my boxes from Uline. But that is it. I haven't gotten my jars. I do have some down there, but some of my candles are now gonna come in white jars, and I'm waiting for Candle Science to ship those. They said next week, and I'm waiting for wicks. Those are supposed to get here today. And I have 3 new products coming out for the next restock launch, which I'm excited about, and I want to get those going because I do cure my candles for 4 to 5 weeks, guys. So this reopen will take me into January, unfortunately, but I prefer to have my candles curing for that long. It gives me a better scent throw since I can't control when a customer burn their candle. So that is it for it, guys. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram. I am trying so hard to build my Instagram. I'm very introverted. I'm not a social media person, so I don't have a large following. I think I have like 190 something right now, and I'm trying to build it up. So if you guys would go there and follow me, I'll follow you back over there. That would be great. I'd really appreciate it. Like and subscribe for more videos, guys. And if you have anything you want me to make a video about, just let me know down below, and I'll see if I can do that for you.